rotate halfway across the map and still raffle stomp the entire field. With this plane, most drops are still on the board. Let's see, can they do it again? Do you think, Matt, that TSM FTX or FTX TSM goes back to back?
It would be beautiful to see, especially with the fact that we know that whenever we talk about the system that TSM has been and the hurdles that they have had, I want to say mentally, but I just guess on social media with the most chicken net. So it would be great to see them figuring out what was going on and taking those chicken dinners in the last round and really being able to take it towards SONIQS, who's been just quite dominant in North America so far. I want it to be at least 2 or 3 dog race instead of just SONIQS for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, this is a big day for two teams, though, because this is the only day TSM, FTX, and SONIQS will be meeting during these stages, during the group stages. So both of those teams, I think, storied past, well known within the North American community. I think FTX TSM would prefer to be considered the #1 team in North America. So here's a chance to really stake a claim in these 6 games. And to be honest, Matt, I genuinely believe not every team thrives on bragging rights, but I think both of these teams care very deeply about how they do compared to the other.
Oh, Circle's going to go a little bit northwest this time, but it looks like we've got a little bit of contention going on for these vehicles. Minnock's going to go and get himself a Bison to take some shots. TSM is to the west of ATC's positioning, so a little bit of a mix-up, but keep it.
Gives himself cover, but the guys coming out, NE is going to have to be worried about him still being there until the blue closes. So it's going to slow them down. Very, very nice play. We'll go back. Oh, go ahead.
SONIQS are trying to defend up right now as EP looks like they're going to go ahead and send it into it. Just 2 members of the SONIQS lined up and trying to defend and doing a beautiful job. The other 2 members trying to make their way through this one, and it looks like they're going to be able to regroup in just a moment. Still playing in the high ground position back behind it. 2 members and now down coming in for EP. They're trying to make the rotation. Circle does pop. Favors Everest's side, so Shrimzy's going to get a little bit of vision as well. Show's going to take some damage, and this is a strong defense from the 2-man squad of SONIQS right now.
EP stacked up as the SONIQS go out on a hard flex left and right. They want to come aggressive. EP's just trying to decide who's going for the res. Meanwhile, the SONIQS are just trying to decide whom gets to feed on the delicious kills. EP does get a knock on Shrimzy. That's a big deal. Opens the door, but Tigleton is waiting. Down goes another Panda as Tig decides to push in and try to get the res. Hwinn tossing out the frags, tossing out the flashes. SONIQS are not slowing down.
They are just standing in the middle of that field with no worries. Finally grouping back in. More grenades gonna roll in. Oldless is trying to get away from this one, the last one up, but he has got a massive numbers disadvantage. And there you go, guys. That's why you're scared of the SONIQS.
Woohoo, man. Oh, meanwhile, we got Gas pushing in on SSG. Civ and Keenan down right out of the gate. Hikerman putting in work, but Penta has returned the favor. We've got lots of bodies on the ground, but the reality is SSG is suffering. 1 man left. Hikerman trying to get the pre-fire around the corner. Gets it. SSG is down, and Hikerman is in the secret lair.
I tried to give SSG some gas, and instead, gas cans just roll through and take it all for themselves to fill up their cans. Meanwhile, ATC going to be rolling in right back behind him. Adam takes a face full of damage. Looks like Marshall can't quite get the knock onto the side angle for this. So now you can see Greg Shot going to go down. Melon's got himself a pretty interesting little position with kind of cover whenever we look through the tubes and the way that they're set up. But Melon has goals. But it's going to be SONIQS again with the Sonic Flick right into ATC. Spraying in, getting that little bit more control. The 2-2 coming up big for SONIQS and stopping everything that ATC was trying to pull out there.
I wish I had comms because I feel like I might hear SONIQS giggling as they are just causing trouble for everyone. Gats and ATC thought they had a cool, sort of team versus team thing building, and SONIQS came in, poked him a few times, and then bounced.
What's going on over here? Look at this. We've got Nightly, we've got TTG, we've got No Cap. Everybody stacked up. There's a ton of smoke coming through. This is a Ruins mess. It is not inside the safe zone, and these guys know that they need to continue to hoof it. But the high ground advantage where SONIQS has been playing from is going to make it a little bit more difficult. So ETR also going to be joining into this party just a little bit, and there's not a lot of options on how to navigate this. You've got to listen into every single footstep as you go, listen in for any shots, and try to use that to figure out the way that you want to make your play through. But it's going to be Lex trained to go, has a nice position, and it's going to be very far to the north of everything that's going on and can potentially stall, but Lex is not in safe zone and needs to make the way west.
The problem is Nightly Esports is lumped up in here. Cap does manage to come in, but only for a brief moment as Krayshow knocks out both Menox and Shrimzy, locking up their little slice of heaven for the moment. TTG still trying to find their way in. As you brought up, we don't know if they're going to pull it off. No leaks just yet. Up on top of Everest, however, we got Wildcard versus BSO. Wildcard trying to make the push up here. They've got 4 men alive. BSO a little less seasoned. We'll see how they handle this situation as Zealot takes the push, goes to the left, gets the burn, goes for the follow-up shot. Man goes prone, takes more fire. There's 1, there's 2. Zealot putting in work. They've got 2 men down. 1 more player of BSO to clear out on top of this hill.
This is just clinical coming out from Wildcard right now. They're navigating this so beautifully. They know exactly where the last member is. It's just a bait and switch around. Finally, one of them goes down, but here comes the follow-up.
What a
T-Sox gonna
rescue.
go ahead and support. There we go. Should be able to get the res quite easily. Meanwhile, though, it looks like there's going to be a new contender for the top of this as another team is making an approach onto Everest. But back into Ruins, you can see it's still messy. Nightly trying to make a little bit more of a play as a sneak attack, the last one up and living up to his name. Peeking around these angles and finding the sneakiest of approaches.
It's a 1v1 as TTG tries to slide past Nightly Esports. League's trying to see if he can't find Sneak Attack. Sneak Attack about to come around the corner. He's taking fire from somewhere else, so he's going to stop in hell. Leaks actually waits on the blue line, knowing Sneak Attack is going to have to run around this way. The question is, how long will he wait? He decides to turn his back. That might have been the wrong time, Leaks. Sneak Attack still playing it slow. Looks like he may just admit his fate as the blue closes, and Leaks somehow goes from an untenable position to surviving the kerfuffle in the ruin. So he will advance. Wildcard, I want to give them a shout out on top of that Everest. They played that so beautifully, Matt. When that knock came out, they did not hesitate. They supported their own teammates. It was amazing to watch them clear and an ode to their teamwork. But it's not over because they also have to re-clear Everest. Another team is up there with them. So we'll keep you updated on how that fight goes as well.
TTG still also needs to move forward. They have Eternity and T8 that's holding up. What was the team that came up into Everest to hold it down? But everything has stopped for just a second while we're waiting for the new circle to pop and should show itself in a second. Now we've got the positioning over there, so it means the fact that where we can see ATC, Gas Cans, Orion, and 2 members of SONIQS in a strong position. Now, how can the last member of Train to go and navigate this? Moving back over, looks like going to try to creep over into ETR's vision side. SONIQS already making the approach, might be a little bit of a distraction. And at the exact same moment, we're also going to see T8 making their move. SONIQS have the high ground and are looking down into the mess of everything that's going on. But ETR is the strong team, trying to survive their way through this, but they don't have a lot of options. Any way that they try to walk their way up this hillside, there is going to be a SONIQS member waiting.
All right, the push comes through. Nightly does go down. Sneak Attack finally eliminated. SONIQS trying to maintain this high ground position. They were very aggressive early on, but maybe that spread has cost them a little too much information give out as the circle has moved away for them. So they're going to have to slide in while still fending off the crowd from the ruins. Hwinn definitely up to the challenge with that SLR. ETR down inside the pit. Leak still trying to find out how he stays alive as he's got Tactical 8 and ETR as well as the Overwatch of SONIQS to deal with.
Oh, looks like Steezy knows what's up. Never mind. Gonna go ahead and go down there as it's gonna be TTG gonna go and take down Steel, but Real's position goes down. Stack 8 still just trying to get a little bit more as they know that they've got a position around the safe zone, but it's gonna be SONIQS also repositioning around, but Vexel finding the angle onto Steezy to take him down, and that's gonna be more and more problematic because it's just gonna be Weem up. And you can see this is a dangerous run. Trying to cross through there, gets spotted out, goes down, and that's gonna be MIME that gets the vision onto it. Now, ETR. You're still alive, but you've got yourself a problem. You're going to have to cross back up that hillside, but with T8 going down, they may have the opportunity to go up this little bit of a lip, but I think that SONIQS already repositioned and has vision on it. Back over to the Everest fight, though. TSM looks like they're assaulting the hillside as well, and now we've got Wildcard as well as What, all trying to fight around this position.
I would ask what's on Everest, but I think Wildcard is very aware as Blissey sees both TSM FTX and the guys from Wildcard between them and Survival. Wildcard no longer an issue as they get caught between the TSM and What sandwich. What falling backwards, Alo does not have brakes on his car. He's the kind of guy that takes the brakes off his bike because forward is how he lives.
The way that they're moving through this one, they have control of the low ground where they've got Purdy playing that position. Penta being the front man right now and trying to scout it out just a little bit more. Very aware the team is on the other side of this one, but it's going to be TSM that's playing right along the edge and trying to find the angle to work with. They know that what's going to be in playing that position, but there we go. Vic trying to creep up around the side, gets a big play out of that one and takes one of the members down. That does reveal his position, though, but here comes a little bit more of aggression coming out from Wet side. Just throwing everything they've got up the hillside, but a little bit too far. Not going to be enough to really harass Penta's position. But this is trying to creep around the side of it. Blissey looks like he has a little bit of information, tries to pop up, but there we go. One member down for what? It's going to be about how Blissey wants to play this one and running up the hillside. Very aware somebody should be taking damage from that grenade. Creeps back around, trying to dance through, but the throwables coming out so strong from TSM. Does manage to get the flush, and it's going to be what that is playing this so well and so controlled.
Patron going to go ahead and try to get his play up here. He's got that Molly. He's going to lock out the left side and try to force TSM to come up over the top of the rocks, but the throwables are there. Alo and the boys unloading to buy themselves some foot forward. I can tell you what, TSM FTX not happy with what they've had to lose to get what off the top of this hill. Can they stop the bleeding? Can they get away with 2 up or any up as they go for what? What dodges the shot? Ultimately goes down. Alo with a nice spray down. Patron has dropped. He gets time to heal, but it's hurting him. There it is.
Comes at a cost, but TSM does get the high ground for now. Question comes into play is where they go next. While all of the skirmish was going on in Everest, that means that nobody was looking down from Everest to stop any of these rotations. Orion's managed to get into a good position, but we still have gas cans and ATC. Remember that thing that was going on a long time ago? They're still not friends, but it's going to be gas cans that has to move forward, and ATC is just holding the line against them.
ATC has finally pushed the fight up against the gas cans. The gas cans do have to back off. Hikerman will go ahead and get Adam back up and running. So they've got some nades. 3 members left up, or four, I'm sorry, from ATC. Still trying to put that work in. Though, it is going to be tough. They are fortunate enough to have the circle. So all they have to do is sort of keep poking gas and keep them from coming in. Meanwhile, Eternity goes down to SONIQS, who are still playing bold ridge lines. Hwinn has been just man mode peaking nonstop.
They're just swarming around this low position. Nobody can move. They keep moving between about 5 different points, and every single time they hear a sound, be it a car, a gunshot, they swarm that direction, harass a little bit, retreat. It's a very run-and-gun strategy that's paying off big for them. They've got a controlled territory right now that is most of the east. Really, it's just Orion that's to the north. But with this, they managed to contain an ATC and gas cans, not allowing them to move at all. Really, it's just the remnants of TSM and Orion that SONIQS have to contend against right now. And it's going to be TSM's Alo that's just hopping in a vehicle and sending it right into the middle of everything. SONIQS, though, very aware that the threat is going to be ATC and gas cans, but side angles coming through, they realize where Orion is, and simply, Matt, you had yourself a big play earlier. This time you're going to go down and should be able to be never mind. It's going to be a couple of assistant shots going in, and he's just going to go ahead and get taken down. So with this, where the gunshots go, so do SONIQS.
SONIQS 100% just holding their section of the map, controlling the circle. TSM FTX doing a great job of making the most of what they have, but 2 in the late game, not their optimal drive. Any trolls in the chat still has 4 up, the only team besides SONIQS, and they have to hold off the gas cans, but the SONIQS have been flocking like sharks smelling blood in the water. They know that ATC is there and want to get them when they start to move. That said, the circle pops. SONIQS will have to rotate significantly farther and are going to start that early. So that may open the door for ATC to try to get out of there because the SONIQS are leaving. Uh-oh.
Oh, ATC's got to be very careful off of this one. Gas can still coming in. I see what you're trying to do with that pan out there. If you can manage to connect onto it, I would be so proud of you. Nice throw on the Molotov, though. Gas can's getting a little bit more space. Inch by inch, they're creeping forward, trying to get a little bit more out of this. Adam navigating a very dangerous position, and you can see the throwables coming in, but not getting the work in that they so desperately want. I come in going for a little bit of a peek around and look at the Molotovs and the control that's coming in to slow down everything. Gas can's just having to creep forward. Finally gets a vision, spraying right through the doorway. Command gets 1. Has to be careful, though. Peeks back around the window, but here comes some side shots off to the side. This one making it a little bit more difficult. Hikerman, how are you going to play it now? Last one up. Been a valiant defense right now. Spots out yet again. Going for the spray, and here it comes. Meanwhile, while this is going on, SONIQS walked up to the north and decided to get control over Orion, and that leaves us with 3 teams up.
So SONIQS smacks Orion. Gas cans are held off by ATC, but it cost them so much. You could argue the gas cans Moroccoed them, and they don't have a lot of chances to get back in this because they got to travel to the fight. TSM and SONIQS decide to go head-to-head for the moment. Shrimzy would love nothing more than to hold off TSM and force them to maybe rotate backwards into ATC.
They are just constantly fluxing around to different points, tagging in, communicating. That's the whole way that this strategy works, is each one has to be calling out every single motion, that any action that they see. Tig spots out Melon, takes a couple of shots, and the instant reposition with the other members to try to focus in and see if they can support. While all this is going on, Hwynn's just kind of that secondary shot placement. They can kind of bounce between the different positions. Two members focused in on TSM's duo to the north, Hwinn bouncing between it depending on how the threats go, and Tig holding down to the south. Meanwhile, looks like TSM is trying to get a little bit more grouped off of this. They do have a vehicle to work with. Make a quick reposition around that one. They have to be so careful. Vehicle rolls out into the blue. Grenade's going to come through. Luke 12 goes down. Alo's at half life. Not a lot of options to work with. Molotov looks like it's going to get real close to positioning and might be a problem for Alo as this moves forward. So now we are in this last circle positioning, and everything's going to be collapsing down into the center where there's a crate that could provide a little bit of cover as we move forward. But Hwinn still keeping an eye onto ATC, waiting for them to make some type of move. It's everybody playing against the edge, and SONIQS just bouncing between each fight.
ATC happy to watch this happen, like Rose on the wood plank, just saying, okay, you guys take care of it. We're going to last a little longer. TSM doing what they can to stay alive, but the blue is closing. The bullets are raining, and their end is here. SONIQS 4 alive with control of the north side of the circle and momentum.
ATC, what you got right now? Trying to move through the smokes a little bit. It's going to be a forward step into it. Super spots out Tig. That could be big for him. Melon goes down inside of this as well. Creeping back over, trying to use the crate just a touch. Hwinn trying to move forward. Just 2 members up for the SONIQS right now. M1ME coming in very low on life. Hwinn down to about half. On the other side of this, just 1 member. Norkis up for any trolls in chat. Just spraying into smoke, seeing if maybe he can connect into anything. Maybe get some more flushes. Try to spot out anything that's moving around. Does get some vision onto it. Tries to continue going forward. And we are now in a 1v1. Hwinn creeping through the smoke right now. Finally spots it out. There we go. 18 kills. Gonna go ahead and try to outdo TSM. Walking away with yet another round win for SONIQS.
What is this world? We're TSM. FTX gets the first game with, what was it, 17 kills. SONIQS goes, I'll hold my beer. I was going to say that. They say it. They come out. They get 18 kills. And do we live in a world where TSM FTX gets 19 in game number 3, Matchroom?
I hope so. That would be a beautiful world to live in. So with this, though, it's